And we're ready to go. Sec, everybody, while I get a little comfy. Get a little comfy cozy. Just gave out all the deets for folks. All right. Quick little jump scare. 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Hi. Hello, 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 everybody. How are we doing today? Hopefully your day is good. It is another wonderful day in the neighborhood of Flesh and Blood. And it's late. I decided to do a quick little live stream tonight, talk a bit about the decks we had seen in the Silver Age format over the course of the Pro Tour, and also kind of what we can expect moving forward in Skirmish. For those of you who don't know, Skirmish season is in about 2 weeks. And so with Skirmish season coming up, it is going to be Silver Age. So you're going to be playing Silver Age, which means that if you want to win one of those Marvel Boltons, we can go ahead and obviously talk a bit about what you might be expecting at your local scene. But it's going to be a lot of fun. The Pro Tour was crazy cool. I loved seeing all the people playing in the Pro Tour. I love seeing all the different deck choices people had. And more importantly, I mean, just like we're continuously seeing that arcane damage is like so good. But we had some other heroes that definitely were quite interesting as far as their Silver Age play. Unfortunately, though, for the top 8 of the Pro Tour, there wasn't like a split format thing. So it wasn't like you had to win with your Silver Age deck and you had to win with your CC deck. It was just CC in top 8, which, you know, felt kind of bad, but I guess they don't do that with draft either, right? You know, so who's to say? But sound off in chat, everybody. Let me know you're here. Let me know you're hanging out. You're vibing. What we're doing today, though, is, as I mentioned, we're going to talk a little bit about the meta we saw over the course of the Pro Tour, and a bit about some spicy games that we ended up seeing, too. So there's a lot of really, really cool things that came to light during the Silver Age portion of the Pro Tour, and I wanted to cover those and take a quick peek at some deck lists. So that'll be good. But I'm happy to see you all here. I know it's been a while since I've done like a live stream, right? So happy to be finally able to do that. But it's been a blast. I've been having a lot of fun. So a lot of stuff getting set up locally for me. I'm trying to get a store up and running with Flesh and Blood, and we might make them a Silver Age like specific armory, so no classic constructed. It might just be Silver Age, which is pretty cool. I would like that availability to happen, right? Because I think that we do have the ability to get people on board, and it seems like Silver Age is actually in a pretty good spot. So who's to say, right? But we'll see how that turns out. They might end up going to Classic Constructed. We're not too sure, but we're onboarding them all the same no matter what. But let's go ahead, take a quick peek here at the decks that we had seen over the course of the weekend. What you did not see is the decks that were, or the gameplay more specifically, that was happening in the Showdown, which was a Silver Age format. And it looks like Michael Jasker, the current reigning world champion, ended up taking it down in Yokohama on Kano. So obviously still seeing that Kano's got quite a good foothold here. Painful Premonition Red looks to be the takeover case there. They're also on Chorus of the Amphitheater. Very interesting, right? If an action or instant card you control will deal arcane damage this turn, instead it deals that much +1. So It's got amp 1 on it, not bad. There you go. Dan, well, welcome on in, buddy. Thank you for becoming a channel member. How are you doing, my friend? How are things? The one Finals Fighting Spirit is very interesting. Very curious to see how this plays out, but it is, you know, you got all the emeritus in there, so appreciate the concept. Oh, well, thank you, Dan. I appreciate you, right? You know, you went out of your way to get that channel membership over to me, and I appreciate it dearly, especially after my week has been quite interesting because I was, I brought my car into the shop for a bit of a noise issue. Got the diagnosis back from the mechanics, and they're like, yeah, you owe us $5,000. And I'm like, oh, to get my car running, I need to pay $5,000. Yeesh. So always helpful in that scenario. But yeah, Michael Yasser's Kano looks pretty stock standard for the most part. Doesn't look too bad. Did I go? Oh, to ProTour? No, I did not go to the ProTour. I was unfortunately just a bystander at home, but I was watching the ProTour, especially the Silver Age event portion of it. And right now we're going to take a look at the showdown decks. It looks like, and honestly, this is kind of the craziest thing here, is that there's a lot of Icelander that made it to the top 8 of the showdown. This is Guy's list. Guy is actually well known for making really good Dromai lists. On Eugene, yeah, Eugene, I mean, I think that would have just been like the most like main character-esque, like, you know, good ending we could have ever hoped for. Not that Evan Herndon, Herndon didn't deserve it, right? He worked hard to get where he needed to be. But I think a lot of people are always rooting for the underdog, right? And Reinar being the underdog, and also on top of it, it being Eugene, who only plays Reinar and decided to play an even bigger than that blue in his Reinar build. Just a very interesting kind of deck. Yeah, not bad, but I think a lot of us wanted Eugene to win. Eugene played Dash very well over the course of the weekend in the Silver Age format. I think a lot of people were expecting maybe that Eugene was going to bring was going to bring Reinar in Sage as well, or maybe even just KO, right? But was not the case. So, oh really? There you go. Well, you can give them the congratulations in person. That's always a fun thing too. Just a wonderful human, Eugene. So I think it's always a happy thing to see that somebody out there is really excited to just rep their hero until their hero LLs, and even going like into the interview that Brian Gottlieb had, in which like eventually Reinar is going to have to LL. Do you have any plans for who you might go to after? And he's like, well, Reinar's not going to LL for a while, but if he does, Reinar 2 will probably be around. So that's it. Bring home a pink hoodie and Easter egg play. Very nice. Ooh, yeah. I didn't ask really for any merch or anything from Yokohama. We had some people from Colorado out there that had asked if they wanted to bring stuff back. I just don't. I would know I would buy a lot of money, or spend a lot of money, I should say, if I was there. But I don't want somebody to buy it and then I pay them and then they ferry it back, and it's this whole thing. I don't want to put that burden on somebody else. So I'd much rather just let it be. I'll buy merch and I'll buy things from events I go to. That way I know that I went, and so on and so forth, right? But yeah, so this is actually the second place Icelander from Guy. Looks like it's a pretty straightforward list aside from the look tough. There's also a lay low and unmovable, only one snapback. And then they've got this, which is great. You don't know what this card does. This card essentially says FU Florian specifically. A lot of interesting blue choices, one-off blue choices, but it seems to be very red spell, red attack heavy, right? We got the chest puff and the look tough. This is near identical to what... Oh my gosh, I've forgotten their name already. I'm sure we'll see it. It is like Ravenous Rabble, look tough, chat. Like, this is just the weirdest thing, because I think what they're trying to get at here is you're going to pair into Icelander and you're expected to bring like AB2 or AB3. And instead, Icelander is going to say, I brought like all giant red attacks, like big red spells, big red attacks. And so therefore you have less cards to block with in your armor. And so you just end up shipping it. And the funny part is it's kind of like a switchboard plan, because if your opponent presents a bunch of not arcane damage, you can just block with these larger attacks here, these 3-block attacks, and then send large arcane damage that your opponent can't deal with. So it is quite interesting. But I think as long as you're running Pyroglyphic Protection, I think this is the reason why some people are on Icelander, is because of Florian. Pyroglyphic Protection just kind of says, all right, leave this in Arsenal for the entirety of the game. If my opponent attempts to attack me with all of the rune chants, I can just play Pyroglyphic from my arsenal at instant speed before the rune chants pop, and then block out the physical attack that's coming in, and then they're pretty much good to go. So, but a very interesting build. I'm very curious to see how this ended up working out. What sideboard would it? I imagine some of these cards got to be sideboard, right? But it is kind of an interesting one. This is Andrew Cook's Yokohama list. Looks like it's the same. This must have been a team specific list. Looks like he was on one energy potion instead of another card. But same deal. Ravenous Rabble, look tough, chest puff, Finals Fighting Spirit. Just one Save the Thought. Very, very interesting cards to be playing in the deck, because Bullander, I mean, has kind of always been a thing for a while. But with this isn't so much exactly Bullander as it is Guardian. But it's Guardian, and then eventually you play Save the Thought, which allows you to shuffle your 6-power spells back into your deck, and that way you can send more Burn Bears. So I'd be curious to see if Kano's eventually run this as well, although Kano doesn't really want to run it because it's an instant, and you don't want to see that on the top of your deck. But Icelander can run it very, very well. So kind of fun there. We did also have Brody on their Valda list. We have an Oldham list, an Ira list, 2 Ira lists, one from Gordon and one from Yoshiki. And then, it looks like another Ira list. So 1, 2, 3 Ira. Yeah, 3, 6, 8. So 3 Ira in the near bottom half of that there. 2 Icelander, a Wizard, a Kano, an Oldham, and a Valda. So the Oldham or the Valda list, I think we've seen this before from Brody in the, I want to say this was, Brody did not make top 8 at Shanghai, right? If I recall. So I think this is just a regular standard list. But not much should have changed here, right? We still got the Crash Down. Imperial Seal's interesting. Destroy this. Defense reaction cards can't be played this turn if you are a royal. The next time you hit a hero this turn, destroy all cards in their arsenal. So really, this is just your like kill Florian button that you get. You can play this, and then you can go ahead and just send your where the hell? I know it's in this deck. There's no way it's not. Did I pass it? There it is. Smack of Reality. Such an insane card in this deck, because this is how you beat Florian, right? Stacked Florian is kind of a menace to most block slop decks, and Smack of Reality, you're kind of playing a far more aggressive Guardian, and you know how many cards are in Florian's deck that RD reacts. So just having an Imperial Seal command is actually kind of a cool thing. You know, you start your turn, activate this, and then your opponent can't play defense reactions. So they'd have to block with everything in their hand, and if you go ahead and you send a Smack of Reality for, you know, 18 or whatever, they can only block with one card from hand because it probably has Dominate from Valda's ability, and then you just go about sending more. So pretty good stuff, gotta say. I think this is something I'm going to consider if I see more Florian locally, because it is a generic card, right? So you could theoretically play this and then go about your turn as like an aggressive, like a Phi or an Ira or a KO even. Although you're not really going to want to play it in KO, but not a bad card. You could even theoretically play it in Syndra, and you're already royal. So you could use that in Syndra, you can use it in Fang. Pretty cool. 4 Pummel for Brody. Pretty much a standard list here from what I can tell. Nothing too spicy, which I'm totally fine with here. This is Kinitran's Oldham list. I imagine very block slop heavy, as we can see here. Looks like we got 10 4 blocks in the deck. Plus, I would imagine you got the Turn Timbers, the Staunches, the Root Bounds, the Blessing of Serenity to block out some damage, just prevent some damage. The Unmovables. This is a very block heavy list. Can get you a long place, but if you pair this deck into a Florian, it is an auto loss. So very curious to see how that gets paired up, I guess. Because they're also not on Arcane Polarity, so unsure what exactly they were planning on going into this. And then Gordon's Ira list is pretty, I would imagine, a pretty stock standard Ira list, although this is interesting. I'd imagine this is your Chain Ender. You pay 1, start of your turn, destroy this, and then create a Crouching Tiger in your Banish Zone. It gets +3, and you may play it this turn. I mean, it's a 3 block red, which is kind of cool, but you're playing a very Tiger focused build, which I like. I like a Tiger focused build. Also, down but not out. This is kind of interesting, right? You have less life and control fewer equipment and tokens than them. It gets +3 overpower, and when this hits, create an agility, might, and vigor token. So you save one of these towards the end of the game. Your opponent has more armor than you do, which they usually will if you're on the Tiger package, right? Because you're popping this, and your chest piece. So you'll probably just have your headpiece left, and they'll probably have like a head and chest or a head and arms or however it might be. And then you just got to have less life, and then you get to send this for 8 overpower, and when it hits, make all these tokens, which is kind of insane. I don't like that. 1 Arcane Polarity, so not really respecting a ton of the wizard stuff there. Aspect of Tiger Body. So again, you can tell it's very Tiger focused. It looks like a lot of this was pushed on sending 0 for 4s and 1 for 5s, or 0 for 3s, 1 for 4s, and 1 for 5s. Only 1 Bittering Thorns is kind of interesting, though. I'm curious why there's only 1. I feel like you could maybe take out one of these Blessing of Ki and put in the Bittering Thorns, but theoretically you want more Tiger stuff, right? Right? Yeah, because you have Growl, you've got, I'd imagine you have, yeah, Untamed in here too. So it seems like a lot of what you're doing is you're just trying to go wide with like some smaller tigers, which, to be fair, a lot of the times if you create a tiger and that tiger is going to get some kind of power, that's actually kind of huge, because that's 1 card that you did not have in your deck that you are able to play for anywhere between 1 to 3 points of damage, which does help in a fatigue game. Because if you're able to make tigers and send tigers, those tigers aren't cards that are back in your deck. Now, of course, they're usually cards that make them, like you have to play Aspect of Tiger Body, but you get an extra card on top of it, which tends to be very good. Sound the Alarm, very helpful for the attack reaction heavy decks. So at least have that there. And it's a 1 for 5, and they reveal their hand. So really, at the end of the day, you get to see their hand, which is really great. Reinforce the line, banger card. Better than, this is essentially a 0 for 4 defense reaction. Like, without a shadow of a doubt, this is just really good. And then you're playing Feign, Tiger's Eyes, Salt the Wound, Legacy, the whole 9. So pretty straightforward stuff. Not a lot of blues. What is that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I guess 14 blues is about what I was running too, right? So, but definitely a lot more reds. And a lot more reds coming in here. So bluster buff, cut throughs, flying kicks, growls. I think I'm going to add in growls and untamed into my deck and see how that plays out. Just because I feel like being on that aggression more is going to be a lot more helpful. So we'll see how that turns out. I also need to get my hands on a Legacy of Ikaru and a Seek Vengeance, because this card is just like crazy good. Just another copy of Nip at the Heels, effectively. So, but that is the showdown there. So not a bad spread for the showdown, I gotta say. 3 wizards, 3 ninja, and 2 guardian. So again, if you're looking for a class to play in this format and do incredibly well with, you could probably play some flavor of guardian, some flavor of wizard, besides like a Cilio maybe, some flavor of ninja, or some flavor of runeblade. And those are all viable things for you to try in the format. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Sage portion of the PT had a great mix. Yeah, let's see if we can get that information up here now, actually. We got, yeah, here we go. So these are the decks that the top 8 of the Pro Tour brought for their event. In quite a decent spread here too. Kano, Briar, Dash, Ira, Icelander, Florian, Oldhim. Like, again, Guardian, Runeblade, Wizard, Ninja. And then there's Eugene, our GOAT, our messiah of the brute life. Absolutely gets to just run it through with Dash. And that's actually something I really want to check out, is Eugene's Dash build, because it didn't seem too different from what I would expect. I am happy to see these get more love here, these embryo builds, because I'm not going to lie, when I saw these initially, I was like, okay, sure, I guess, whatever they do. But I did not really put into my mind when I first heard about them that, of course, you're going to play them in Dash, who can start the game with a hyperdriver on board. So they're already live. So you've got the embryo base Cortex, which gets +2 Guardwell. If you have a hyperdriver, and you have the embryo base Vizier, which is if you would be dealt arcane damage, you may remove a steam counter from hyperdriver to prevent 1. So, and it's got arcane barrier 1. So you can prevent 2 points of arcane if you really wanted to, if you have a steam counter on the hyperdriver. So punching gloves is just another way for you to get +2 on your next attack if you pay for the resource. And then I want to say there was another card in this deck that felt interesting. Scramble Pulse. I love this card. I totally understand why this card is here. I think this card is super good. You just pump this, put this in Arsenal, and just go crazy wide. I love that card. Otherwise, though, I mean, Rainbow Foil Jumpstart, or Rainbow versions of Jumpstart, Rainbow 0 to 60, Rainbow Zipper Hit, the 2 Tekla Trebuchets, only blue Crankshaft and Bertha. So not really caring too much about getting the boost to then get more counters on the hyperdriver. What I recall is, and I can't remember when it was during the Sage portion of Pro Tour, somebody was playing Dash and they were playing Speed Demon, which is, funny enough, it's a new card from Penn, and Speed Demon is like very, very cool. It's a 0 for 3 that has Scrap. So instead of boost, it's got Scrap. And if you control a hyperdriver, this gets +1. So normally, if you have a hyperdriver out, this is a 0 for 4, right? You can end on this as a 0 for 4. Or when this attacks, if it's scrapped a hyperdriver, create a hyperdriver token with 2 steam counters. So if you've already gone through your hyperdriver and it's in your graveyard, you can play Speed Demon to then scrap your hyperdriver and get a new one back. So you have 2 more turns of hyperdriver if you didn't get them back initially. So very cool. Very interesting, small little things that people are tweaking with in this format. Overblast makes a lot of sense there as like another finisher. It looks like the deck is very well tuned to stopping armor blocking, right? You want to save cards like Fender Bender, Outpace, and Scramble Pulse to wait until like the last couple turns of the game there to make sure that your opponent does not block with their armor. Because then you can just send like Scramble Pulse into Outpace, into Fender Bender, into Pistol for, you know, or into Plasma Barrel Shot for 4. And sure, like they can block this, but equipment get -1 while defending this combat chain, so it's like everything. So you probably want to do like this, and then like, I don't know. There's a bunch of different sequencing that's pretty big on it, but I think even just starting the chain with this, especially towards the end of the game when you have a lot more of those blues, you're gonna be able to ship this through. But talking about how vindicated he felt about Sage during it. Well, absolutely. I mean, like, you have to think about it, right? Silver Age is something where a lot of people were not super high on for a long time. You know, nobody really was doing much with Project Blue. They kind of figured it was just something small, whatever, not the end of the world. But locally, you know, if you're just talking like Armory level stuff, a lot of people were picking it up and trying to play it. They didn't want to play Commoner. They wanted to play Project Blue instead. Then they announced Silver Age, and everybody who was already big on Project Blue was like, yeah, let's go. We got it advanced. We're already up there. We're getting more and more people to be excited about it. And then next thing you know, it quite literally ends up being this thing where, like, locally, from an Armory perspective, it is great. But pro players have not, like, integrated themselves with it yet. And they don't feel like it's going to be something that they're going to want to practice for the Pro Tour. But after, I think, what was it? I think after the world premiere with the Sage calling in Battle Hardened, or, well, Showdown, and then I think a couple Sage callings in battle in Showdowns after, I think we always saw that the response from a lot of these really well-known players who are like very competitive and well up there, they have their accolades, are responding that it feels like you're more involved in the Silver Age format whenever you're playing your game because of how intense these back and forths are, right? You can't make a misstep, because if you make a misstep, you don't get 20 life to come crawling back and hope for the best. You have, or you don't get 40 life effectively, right? To crawl back. You are just in there, right? So I could see exactly why Brian felt vindicated, and especially, like, sure, right? I don't think it's too often that we see some really every now and again something really insane slips by. For example, right, we had the Showdown at Shanghai had a Riptide in it, so Riptide, insanely cool. It's good to see, you know, Shoma took it down on Ira, but we are seeing kind of a meta finally form now that it's not just, you know, everybody was so scared about KO, right? They were like, KO is going to be the only thing that's going to be represented. You know, you might as well just bring KO. It's the best deck in the format. But players realize that they could just beat KO. Like, KO is not unbeatable. You can just play a thing that beats KO very well. And when everybody finally caught on to that fact, the Battlegrounds came around and it was like that's crazy. So and so now that's what we see, right? You know, people are still bringing KO, but I think a lot of the times we see it where it's hard to prep for the entire field because Like every hero is legal right now besides Chain. So it's hard to specifically say that you're not going to be able to get like full value on everything, right? You know, you're not going to be able to go like, okay, cool, my deck at least has a 50-50 into 57 heroes in the meta right now. That's just not true. But the popularity, that's what you have to work into, is how many heroes are going to be popular, and can your deck play into those popular decks? And if they can play into the most represented, then they have a pretty good chance. Thoughts on Dash? I think Dash is great. I think Dash is amazing, Skull. Like, I mean, taking a look at Eugene's list, there isn't too much that's like out of the ordinary for this. And Dash was like always my premier, like, teach people how to play Flesh and Blood deck, because it quite literally, it's a little bit more sequence based, but it is incredibly powerful when you get it set up to push that damage, right? I imagine you set up a penetration script at the end of your turn and then you just pass, and then you put a card in Arsenal, and then you just get to go, okay, cool, the next turn of mine is going to be penetration script's going to lose the steam counter, but it's still going to stay on the board. And you just get to go, okay, cool, come in for, you know, 5, go again, 6, go again, 7, go again. Like, you're getting a pump on everything in here. And you're getting other value from the hyperdriver. I mean, getting free resources has always been really good. Playing the one of Boom Grenade, I also agree with. This is kind of the, are you playing into Wizard, right? I think that playing into Wizard, you can play Boom Grenade to start instead of Hyperdriver. But I do think that Hyperdriver is still the better choice overall in that scenario. But pretty stock standard list. I think the deck is super fun. And again, it's very straightforward, right? Once you get a hand of the sequencing and the sideboarding of like what your plan is over the course of your game, you know, usually it's not just like send 4, send 3, send 4, pass. It's usually like send 3, send 4, send 4, send 4, send like 7, or end on some kind of item to allow you to push more damage. It's a very, very good deck, and this card does a lot. Tekla Trebuchet 2000 does a lot for this deck. So this is really cool. Like really, really, really cool to see. So definitely big on the Eugene list, and really any Dash. I mean, really anytime you're trying to play Mechanologist in a field full of whatever the hell that is, it, you know, you got my kudos. Hatch Bolton deck. There you go. I mean, hey, sky's the limit. Especially, I mean, my gosh, you got to be super excited for the Mastery Pack Warrior that's about to come out, right? That's going to be a lot of new things for Warrior to play in Sage. But I think it's not a bad place to be. I personally like the Centauri Sellsword Kasai more than I do the Heavy Hitters Kasai. But I think it's different. Absolutely. It's got to be just like the best, right? But yeah, so these are kind of the Pro Tour lists. Evan Herndon, I'm assuming not going to be anything crazy there, right? Yuki's list is probably much like Christopher Yali's list. We have Michael Hamilton brought Florian as well. I'm curious what differs about their builds. So Evan Herndon, yeah, same list that won with as oh my gosh, Michael Yasker. I think it's the same list pretty much. So some people are off epots now, but I think they still get the job done. We do have Yuki's list here for Briar. And again, yeah, we're seeing Sigil of Voltaris. We've got the Flash of Brilliance. We've got the Harness Lightnings, except 2 Harness Lightning instead of the 1 that Iyali was running in Shanghai. But yeah, same concept as just small little pings of arcane damage, get your opponent down to a lower life, force them to start blocking, never give up on that blocking situation, and then you can probably ping them down even more. Because it's what? 1, 2, technically 3, 4. Well, each one triggers, yeah, each one triggers twice, technically. So 4, and then you can get like 5, 6 out of it here too, with Flash of Brilliance. I guess, yeah, 5, 6 out of Flash of Brilliance. So it's 6 arcane with just like Sigil of Voltaris. You can buy it back with Beckoning Haunt. So 8 points of arcane damage with just these 2 cards in your equipment. And then, of course, you have your Sigil of Sufferings, which is 4 more points of arcane. So let's say 12. Static Shock if this hits. This is 2 more points, so 14. And then we have cards like Harness Lightning, which is 6 more points of arcane. So that is 20. So you're looking at about 20 points of arcane plus the 3 from Arcanic Shockwave, 23, and 25 from Crackle, and 27 from Arcane Seed's Life. So the deck can deal 27 points of arcane damage over the course of a game. And it's just like small little iterations of it. So it's definitely something that like your opponents aren't going to respect, because they don't want to give up 1 card for 1 point of arcane, which, you know, in most situations they shouldn't, but the deck just kind of pushes a lot of damage there, which is really good. Here is Nicholas on Florian here. Pretty stock standard from what I can see. I like the Weeping Battleground for the harvest season. It helps get that online, or even the Sigil, well, not the Sigil of Sylphidae, but the Sigil of Earth more specifically, to banish an aura, such as Harvest Season or Sigil of Earth, and then go about getting your hero online with Chorus of Rotwood. So pretty good stuff there. This is about what I expect from a Florian. Again, it's just stack chant Florian, kind of getting your stuff together there. We then have Michael Hamilton's list, which was using this. Now, that was always the fun part here. With Shanghai, that was such an interesting addition. I don't know if y'all saw it. You were there for the event, for the calling in Shanghai. We saw a list. I apologize, I do not recall your name, but they were running Annals of Sutcliffe in their Florian list. They made it to top 8. They were running Annals of Sutcliffe, and they were also running Scepter of Pain, right? They had a switchboard planned. So, yo, what's up, John? How you doing, bud? Welcome on in. Good to see you. But yeah, Annals of Sutcliffe and Scepter of Pain, it was a switchboard plan. Essentially, if you knew your opponent was on aggro and didn't want to pitch a card for arcane damage, you could play Scepter of Pain. If your opponent was fine pitching a card to arcane damage, you could play Annals of Sutcliffe instead, which just says pay 3, draw a card. If an attack action card and a non-attack action card were pitched this way, create a Runechant token. So this is your uninteracted, like your absolutely uninteracted Runechant generation into Guardians who were like willing to block that out, right? And stream notices. I don't know. I did a post to everything as far as that goes, all my socials and all that other jazz. So hopefully everybody got the update for that. But if they did not, it is not the end of the world. You're here, and that's what matters. So yeah, it looks like Michael Hamilton playing the Annals here, which is really cool. Excited to see this get play at all, because it certainly did not in most other cases. Otherwise, the decks, again, pretty much the same. They're on yellow and blue fruits, which is pretty cool. Just keeps you alive a little bit longer, gets you more earth cards in your graveyard. They're on the red and yellow Rootbound Carapace. They're on the Amplify the Arknights, the Colors of Aria, the whole 9. Not too much different compared to what most of this is anyway, right? So pretty cool stuff there. Oh my gosh. So with that being said, right, the cool thing is that the skirmish season is coming up here pretty soon. And if you don't know, I would check with your local game stores, or at least go to the event locator in the thing. There is a skirmish coming up, skirmish season 14. And that is going to be the next time you're going to be able to play Silver Age competitively, effectively. There are, well, outside of the upcoming callings that are going to have a Silver Age showdown. Silver Age showdown, that's what it is. But the skirmish is pretty cool. If you don't know anything about skirmish season, let's see if I can get a whole thing together for skirmish season. Apparently not. Let me see, where can I find this? Skirmish season 14, that's what I want to see here. So skirmish season, you'll see here, starts April 25th. So literally 2 weeks effectively from now. We are going to end up seeing a pretty decent amount of prize support, right? So we're getting, the winners get a spot prize of a cold foil Marvel Young Bolton, which is super sick, right? Crazy sick, because this is not a hero that came in the gem pack. So seeing Marvel Bolton here is pretty cool, right? Love to see that. And then even the winner prizes, right? There's a spot prize and a winner prize, right? So I'd imagine there's kind of one for each. You get two. Yeah, there you go. So 2 Bolton Cold Foil Marvels, one to be awarded to the winner, one to be given out as a random spot prize, and then 2 Swordmaster Shine Extended Art Cold Foil, which are awarded to the top 2 players, and then 4 Cut and Carve EA Rainbow Foil awarded to top 4. Then there's 25 Gem Pack 4 boosters, a Flurry playmat awarded to the winner, and a Swordmaster Shine playmat given out as a random spot prize. So there are 2 ways, as long as your LGS actually likes its players, you could even just win one of these Boltons by showing up, which is cool. And you can also just win this Swordmaster Shine playmat for showing up. Usually these are done by like raffles and things like that, so pretty cool stuff there. But it is going to be Silver Age, so really what we want to help determine is like what are we expecting to see, right? Everybody's meta is going to be different, but I imagine we are still due to see quite a few specific heroes do very well. All right, and I think what we can do is we can even take a look. I don't really like to go off of Talishar results because it isn't really like the best way I like to take a look at, because sometimes they're skewed, because you know, sometimes people are having like internet issues and like a favored matchup ends up becoming a loss because they're having internet issues or because Talishar goes down, all this kind of stuff. So if we take a look though at Silver Age over the last 30 days in Talishar, it's a pretty telling thing here, right? We're taking a look at heroes that have like a pretty huge spread, and there's a lot of heroes down here at the bottom, a lot of them. But if you take a look at the meta, right, Ira, Oldham, Briar, Victor's even doing very well, which is very interesting to me. Dorinthia, who's still playing, I'd imagine, Decimator, Great Axe, or maybe even a Dawnblade build. Valda, and then there kind of gets down a little bit lower. You've got the Dromais, the Florians, Olympias, Bravo Flattering Showmans, Phi, Kasai, Vincent, and even KO at a 51% win rate over the course of this time. So if you want to play a hero that has a pretty good spread into most, you can certainly play like pretty much any of these heroes that are at a 50% or greater matchup spread, right? Talishar, you take with a grain of salt, more matches gives more data. Exactly, right? That's how I feel. And that's why I like to have this minimum game slider to be up more, because it looks like totally different if you bring it down to minimum games as 1. And then you're like, wait a minute, what is all this? It's like we move this to here. Does it still look the same? Curious if it still has the same thing here. Yeah, a little bit, not that much different, I think. Yeah, 51%. You don't even see KO on this list anymore. All the way down here, there's a lot more 51% in this range. That's why I like to kick it up to like, I don't know, like 100-ish games. I wish the slider worked a little bit better. Come on. Yeah, like a minimum of 100 games is what I expect to see. Because that's what I want to base my data off of, is people who are actually testing and not people who are just like, yeah, I guess I'll try it out. So, but yeah, so it is very much so a large percent Ira, Oldhim, Briar. You're in a pretty okay spot. Valda is a great pick if you like a more aggressive Guardian. I think Valda is like crazy good if you are playing into like the Guardian mirrors, if you're playing into KO a bunch locally, even if you're playing into Ira, right? You get a lot of value off of doing stuff like that there. So I will say it's quite a powerful deck. I do foresee a lot more people probably trying to bring Dromai. The difference is that I personally would not be bringing Dromai knowing that Ira exists and is so prevalent in the meta. And that's just because Ira has consistently beaten all ally decks they have ever played into nearly forever. The win rate is just so abhorrently bad for Dromai that it's not even worth it. Like you'll see here, right? This is the win rate of Dromai into Ira. 31%. It's pretty bad. Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, Maeve, I think so. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised that Ira gets a bench, which is funny because like that's kind of the thing that like normally I wouldn't expect to strictly see. The reason why I think Ira should get a bench, and even still, I'm hoping to play Ira for the foreseeable future, but I think I'm gonna even personally vote out Ira. Not because of these stats, right? But because I think overall she's just the most consistent and so incredibly easy to get like a win with, and can win just by winning a die roll. Dromai is meta S tier. Yeah, right. I wish that was the case. She's good. I mean, you pair her into most of these Guardians and they die. You know, you just have like a bit of a rougher time with that. Like Dromai does really well if you're into a bunch of Florians locally, but Ira is just really, really good. Do I think that Ira is OP? No. I mean, you see here, the Oldhim matchup isn't that favored. You have to be like so incredibly on top of it to beat your Oldhim matchup. But otherwise, though, you take a look at the rest of these and you are in like up and up. Like Riptide, it's a low percentage. Dash, it's a 56%. But like all of your matchups here are right around 50% or greater, which is kind of insane because you just don't really expect that to be the case. You don't expect a hero to have that large of a win rate. But I mean, it depends, right? I think Ira is a great ninja to get rid of only because there are so many other ninjas available that, you know, seeing her go isn't going to be the end of the world. But really, I expect we're going to see Ira go, Briar go, and maybe even Valda go. Unless, of course, people just hate Florian so much that Florian goes. But the issue is, and this is what they probably don't want to do, right, is that heroes like Valda and Ira and even Briar in some situations, they are what is gatekeeping KO from being good again, right? Not that KO isn't good, but being dominant again. And if they proceed to get all of these bans occur, and then 3 of the heroes that get banned are heroes that stop KO, and then like the devs don't ban KO, we're in a different position, right? But I do think that there is, you know, they're not going to be able to hit all of these. You know, some heroes are just going to do genuinely well over each other. Voting for benching is next month. Yes. Yes, I believe May 28th, I think is correct. I think May 28th is the way to go. Or is when I think May 28th is when Chain gets unbanned. And yeah, it's right before the Omens pre-release. I think it's at the Omens world premiere, if I recall correctly. So I think it might be earlier than the 28th. It might be the week before. I don't quite recall, but it might be it's either pre-release weekend or it's the weekend before. What about Oldham? Well, that's the thing, is like it's going to be hard because Ira's a problem with consistency, right? The deck just sings on its own. It's got a crazy good win rate into most heroes. Like I'm talking like literally 50% win rates into 95% of the field, which is kind of huge. But Oldham also quite high in most of the win rates. Auto loses into Florian, like literally an impossible win. I guess they lose into Victor too, which is just very interesting to me. And then you take a look at like Enigma. They just die to Enigma. They die to Rhinar. And I believe, yeah, New's a pretty rough matchup because they just get to play all the things. Not that you're expected to see a lot of New. Their Kano matchup is also, it's a 48%, but it's depending on what you're running, right? Because if you're running just Arcane Polarity, it's like whatever, right? But like most of the time, Oldham can't present that kind of damage and prevent a lot of the Arcane coming in. So Kano just dies. Or Kano beats Oldham in some cases there. But quite a lower win rate overall. They just have a pretty okay win rate into Ira, which is probably why they're seeing more and more success, is because you can kind of win out pretty well into those heroes. So, but yeah, so I don't know. It's a here nor there. I think the real issues I'm trying to figure out, are we expected to see more people vote because they are annoyed of seeing a hero more often, or are they going to make a vote because they think a hero is broken? And I think that a lot of people's skews on what broken is like are probably going to cause a lot of people to make a very weird vote. For example, right, Dromai, quite a powerful hero, oftentimes very contentious. And I think a lot of people really do not like the fact that Dromai exists and that she got Rake the Embers. But are they going to ban Dromai because they just don't want their locals to play Dromai anymore? Or are they going to choose to ban Ira because they'd much rather have something that isn't like competitively one of the best decks in the format, right? Same goes for any of these, right? How are we choosing to do this voting, right? And I think more importantly, who are the devs going to vote out? Because regardless of what happens, right, we also have to think about the fact that Chain is coming back into this next meta. Like, Chain will be a legal hero for people to play in this meta, and I think that that is going to be something that is going to shift a lot of these numbers, right? Guardians are going to go down significantly with Chain being legal. You know, you're going to see a lot more people probably playing Dromai. If that's the case, you might see a lot more people play just like a more aggressive like Valda, right? Making sure that like if they're drawing cards, or Valda's able to play cards that are like crush abilities to destroy your opponent's aura tokens, so their soul shackles, their rune chants, the whole thing. And we don't even know if anything else is going to get banned for this in Silver Age come Omens, right? Are there any other cards that they're going to ban from Chain before Omens is released? So I wonder if they get worried about trying to... Oh, well, sure. I think that's the thing, Maeve, is it's really hard to balance a format with 58 heroes plus going into it, because you can't make, that's the thing that I think a lot of people realize is not the case. As much as people want it to be, you cannot make every one of these heroes an S tier hero, even an A tier hero, right? You can't make them all A tier heroes. What you can do though is you can make specific bans to make S tier heroes A tier heroes, right? If you keep everything at A tier and nothing ever goes to S tier, you're in an okay spot. That's kind of where you want to be. If the ceiling is A tier and roughly about like 50% of the heroes end up being in A tier, then you're okay. If you make all heroes S, exactly, right? If all heroes are S tier, it's not going to be helpful, right? It's not about like, oh, you know, my poor Data Doll stats. How am I ever going to want to play my girl Data Doll in this format? It sucks. It's bad. I hate it. It's like, dude, for one, nobody is testing Data Doll, right? Data Doll's got 129 games, and they're all across like a couple games of each individual hero, and they're all bad. They're all 0% win rates, which I do have to say is also the more interesting thing here, because you take a look and like, it says like Dash.io is a 100% win rate into Kasai Centauri Sellsword, but it's only because one game has happened out of this entire hero's 468 total games. One game has happened there where they've won, and that's like a misleading stat of being like, oh, they're always going to win. It's like, no, nobody's testing these heroes, right? You can tell what heroes are being tested because of the amount of results you're seeing up here and the amount of games that we've got going on, right? Obviously, you take a look at the games that are different, like a minimum of 116 games, you have like approximately 20,000 games, 5.8 thousand games, 8.5 thousand games, 12,000 games, 5.5 thousand games. And then you move down here to the bottom and it's like 223 Katsu, 468 Dio, like 286 Puffin. Like, people are not like going out of their way to learn some of these lower tier heroes. New has gotten more, and Levia and Scurv, and even Gravy Bones at that point. So these stats could even be put into play, but as you can see, their win rate is significantly lower because Ira is in the format. It's really, really good. So sitting with B tier is even realistically okay, probably, but then I suppose you run the risk of more competitive players not really enjoying the format. Yeah, I mean, like, it really just kind of comes down to S tier is the problem, right? Oftentimes, whenever you hear a deck become S tier, it's because their win rate looks like this, right? They have an average win rate of 59% in their games, which is huge. And that's kind of a lot, right? I mean, that's a lot. And this is just over the last 30 days. God forbid what it looked like, you know, over the last several months or whatever, right? Hi, Emmy. How was Japan? How was everything? Did you have a good time? Did you rip Tide? Tell me you rip Tide, please. Yeah, 59% is crazy, Maeve. I mean, it really is. Like, a 59% win rate into a hero pool of 57, right? You could go up against any one of these heroes when you go to a calling or to a showdown or to an armory, right? And my God, if your win rate is just this good into any of them, you're always prepared for any of these matches. You know, whereas like, okay, not too sure what we're doing, right? But still here taking a break from walking right now. It's been fun. Nice. Yeah, I'd imagine you guys would take like you both would take a probably a pretty long vacay, right? I'd imagine you're there for the next 2 days or so, right? Hopefully you're taking the time to sit down and explore or well, get up and explore, I guess. So another week. Nice. Hell yeah. Ah, God, I'm so jealous. I need you to eat a 7-Eleven Fammy Chicky in my honor, so that I can live vicariously through you and know what it's like, because I will probably never at this rate. That's gonna be so cool. I need everybody in Japan who can hear this message right now to all eat a Fammy Chicky in my honor, please. Please let this be. You can post it in the Discord, whatever you need to do. Just know that I need to know that you're experiencing Fammy Chicky where I cannot, because you have the opportunity to do such, and I wish I did. I wish I could. I wish there was any way in the world that you could bring Fammy Chicky from Japan to the US and have it not go bad and have it be exactly like you picked it up right then and there in the 7-Eleven. Never the case. So one day when I'm old and gray, so like tomorrow. Oh God. Ooh, God, excuse me. Golly gee willikers. All right. But yeah, so I think this is kind of what we're expecting to see a lot of. But this is again, I think what we're going to see is we're going to see a big shift after these heroes get banned, or heroes get benched, I should say. And once they get benched, I think the real question is, like, with them being benched, are we going to see significant change in play pattern? Sure, some things will be shaken up, but I don't think it's going to be like the most insane thing. And it probably won't even be enough for people who were like really off about playing Silver Age to come back to playing it. Even if like Kano leaves and Ira leaves and Valda leaves and KO leaves, right? If all four of those heroes leave, I still think that people are going to be like, well, the format's still kind of blah, blah, blah here, there, blah, blah, blah. Now Chain's back. So like we lost 4 heroes, but we gained 1, and the 1 hero is really overpowered. So I think we just need to collectively wait and see what the like future holds for it, because once we start having heroes that are like benched for several seasons, it's going to start looking a lot better as far as your change in seasons, right? You know, when we see that Chain's gone for 2 seasons, or Chain's gone for 3 seasons, or Briar's gone for 3 seasons, or however long, right? 3 seasons is like an entire year. And so having these heroes gone for an entire year can certainly allow for a shift in game, especially with like roughly 3 to 4 new heroes per set. So, you know, when LSS is like, yes, the Sage guy needs a trip to the Sage event in Japan. Yeah, okay. We'll see if they fly me out. If they fly me out to cast in Japan, sure, right? I'll go. I have no problem doing that. But I don't know if that's the case. We'll see. We'll see whether or not I'm already doing casting for the event, for things like Shanghai, but that was more of like a community thing than anything else. No, we're doing the next big deal. We're going to Japan specifically. I'm down, dude. I'm down. I would love to go. Briar Sage deck causing unbans is pretty scary. Yeah, for sure. I really hope that maybe they were like, well, of course we were going to ban Burn Up Shock, so maybe we just don't put Burn Up Shock in the deck. But if they are going to unban Burn Up Shock, Briar's probably going to go. For sure. Because then it's just what Sage was day 1, and everybody was just playing Briar. And now people are still playing Briar, right? It's still getting results, even after the bans. So, possible to know how Omens in Sage Chapter 3 changed the meta too. Yeah, I mean, I would be curious to think if Aurora and Acilio and Ziggy do good in Sage. They feel like they're far more like setup decks, and setup decks just do not work unless the setup is purely I blocked you and gained a thing, because that's the only way you're going to really be able to do it. John Sherrill, dude, John, if you get me the ability to fly out to Japan for a Silver Age event, even just like a big event like a world premiere or world tour or something, you got my DMs, buddy. If you want to be my sugar daddy for this event, you just let me know, brother. I will go. But it is it's expensive to travel, especially to Japan. So, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know that Warrior is gonna get like too crazy, right? With the Mastery Pack Warrior coming out, we'll probably see a lot more value off of Dorinthia Quicksilver Prodigy, but I don't know if it's going to be like the best. I'm sure there are some cards that are like Dory specs that made her really good in Blitz that you're not going to see in Silver Age, and so it's probably not going to sing the best. And we never really got to have the opportunity to test to see how Quicksilver Prodigy works in like a budget format. Theoretically, Quick EP was available in Clash, which we know of, but I don't think it was like a game changer of a hero, you know what I mean? Last I recall in my knowledge, but I don't know. Who are y'all thinking, right? We got people here in the chat. When you are getting ready to vote in May to ban a hero, you only get one vote, but the top 3 voted heroes are going to be banned from the next season. Who are you voting for? Right? Who is getting your vote? Is there a hero? And you know what? Tell me why you're voting them out. Are you voting them out because they're oppressive and it's like the best deck in the format and there's no way that that deck should be that powerful? Or are you know, maybe you don't like how wizards play, right? Maybe you're like, I don't like the fact that my opponent can play on my turn, so I'm going to get rid of Kano, right? Even though knowing that Blaze is going to be a legal hero in the next season. Let me know. Let me know. I'd love to hear from y'all. Because it's an interesting, like, point of contention, effectively, right? I'm gonna vote worst draw my matchup. Easy, yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, the more opportunity I get to do very well in the match. What is the worst? Zen? Zen looks to be the worst at 19%. Oh, sorry. Katsu. There's only 3 games of Katsu versus Dromai in the last 30 days on Talishar with a minimum of 116 games. And there's Katsu with a 0% win rate. So, guess Katsu's getting a ban for you there, bud. Katsu's impossible to win against. Them's how it is. Yeah, 3 games not real. That's correct. Katsu's not real. Katsu cannot hurt you. Katsu cannot hurt you. But Zen, on the other hand, though, Zen's got a pretty good win rate at Dromai for sure. Pretty cool. You're ready for Chaos Still Bench? Is that going to be your choice there? Child Lord? Lord 637? Are we still expecting KO to get benched? I mean, the funny thing is that this entire current format is very much so KO hate. Like this is currently showing that KO has a lot of bad matchups. So I'd be curious to see. Voting for probably Briar out of spite, yeah. And so you're specifically voting out of spite, and not because you think it would be the good vote to change the meta. Because I think Briar's a good vote regardless, right? With the chapter deck coming out and a lot of unbans happening because of the chapter deck, I could see a lot of people banning Briar just because they don't want full power Briar in the same format as Chain, right? Or the same season as Chain, I should say, right? I don't know, like you take a look at KO's win rates now, like 28% win rate into Oldhim, 36% into Briar. What else is KO bad into? 25% into Valda, yeah, that's right. And then that's it. Like, pretty much good Guardians. Florian, honestly, it's just because I feel like the fact that you can block as much as a Guardian, just win because you can't block enough with AB. Yeah, I mean, it definitely comes down to a race. Although, it is noted that there are decks that can beat Florian. It's just they're not super great into some of the other ones, right? So, Chain being allowed to exist in this format at all seems a little weird. Yeah, I mean, they were... I think it's fine to give them a season if they're going to actually make, like, significant bans around the hero. If they don't do that, though, it'd be rough. Please, yeah, true. Yeah, if you're playing Zen and New, then yeah, obviously, if your worst matchup is leaving the format, then that's probably pretty good. Try any of the top end heroes, yeah. I think it's something that a lot of people will also think about. Probably is everybody's got kind of like a favorite deck, I'd imagine, in the format by now, and kind of like how John was saying earlier, like, if you just go on here and you go, what's my worst matchup, right? My near unwinnable matchup. I'm going to vote for that hero. And if that hero gets banned, my win rates go up. But if the hero doesn't get banned, then what, right? You voted for, you put your vote in, right? I guess that's what it's going to come down to is what's the conversation going to be eventually when we hear that, like, people wasted their vote, right? When they decided to, if we have a tie between Briar and Ira, and for third place, and if somebody just voted for Ira, we would have had Ira out of the meta, right? So I'm very curious to see how many times we're going to have the argument of, was your vote wasted, or did you actually do that? And that's the thing, is I'm almost certain that outside of the heroes that are going to be benched, they are not going to release the list of who voted for what. I would think, right? Maybe they do, right? Maybe they do in fact do that, and they just say, like, this hero got X amount of votes, yada yada, so on and so forth, right? But it is kind of it would just be kind of silly to be like, oh yeah, somebody voted out Betsy, right? They voted for Betsy. Why did they vote for Betsy? We are not sure. But yeah, it's just it's an interesting place to be at for now. I think I'm still gonna play Ira at my skirmish, because that's it, right? Like, I think Ira's a very good pick, and I think that if you're trying to be consistent about it and you know the ninja, you know your ninja way, Ira's a fantastic pick for Silver Age. Super consistent, very powerful, and like really just one of the best hero powers for a 20 health format. And they get to play the best weapons for a 20 health format, being Harmonized Kadachi. So not bad. But after the skirmish season is over, because I'm not really going to any showdowns or anything of the sort there, I really do think that what do you call it? Excuse me, goodness. Obviously the meta is going to be different for when I go to Nats, because Nats is going to be Omen's season. So I'll have to get some practice in with Chain. See if Chain's good. Or if Briar doesn't get voted out, it's probably going to be Briar. But put together art to play. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I mean, well, it sounds like, you know, based on our conversation earlier, I believe you weren't going to be making it to Skirmish season. But, you know, if you do end up going to Skirmish season, Ira's pretty good. So, also should probably reveal the voting numbers for at least a certain number of heroes, just in terms of transparency. Yeah, I think even if it's like the top 10, you know, like these are the top 10 votes. We took the top 3. Here are the 7 other heroes that made like the most votes. But it's going to be hard, right? I'm very curious because, again, we only have 4 votes. And so we can't hit like Ira, Briar, Valda, Dromai, Florian, KO, and like Kano. We can't hit all of those heroes. Like, we can only hit 4, and we can only hit 3. So I'm very curious. Not to mention that, of course, as I mentioned earlier, with it's August, right? So May, June, July, August. August is still technically going to be Omen season. So I'm curious if they're going to be legal for Sage. I'd imagine they would be, but it's going to be 4 total. So 4 total heroes are going to be benched. But we are gaining Blaze. We're gaining Hala. We're gaining Aurora, Ziggy, and Brocilio, and we're gaining Dorinthia Quicksilver Prodigy. And Raiden is getting a downshift to M. And a couple new warrior weapons are hitting the market. So, like, there's a lot happening within this specific season that is, like, really pushing it. Although I'd be very curious to see how they're going to set up the Mastery Pack Warrior stuff, just because it's going to be pretty late in the season for them to introduce it in there. So I'd imagine with us, I mean, I guess the new sets normally release right around September, October-ish. So maybe they add them in there and then we see how they vote for next season, if they're even worth the time. So decided they didn't want to bench a hero because we voted out Ira and that's who they wanted to vote out. No, so my guess, Maeve, is that Dev is going to vote out a hero first. And then during that same announcement that Dev voted out X hero, we then, the players, are going to be able to vote out the hero that we want to see leave. And then they're going to take the top 3 from that list and ban those 3 heroes for next season. So I don't exactly say we're gaining holiday heroes isn't real. I mean, I think it's real. I think it's real enough. Like, I think Hala can be playable. You know, she got a lot of stuff from Compendium of Wraith. Edict of Steel is in Rainbow and in the Armory deck. So, pretty good. Oh, not a problem, Josiah. Happy to give some dishes combo or conversation. How you doing, buddy? How the heck are you? To hear effect. Yeah, okay. I mean, like, I'm sure it's probably not like the best. But again, you have to remember being able to swing the weapon multiple times and then like pump the weapon over the course of the things. Again, I'm not a warrior main, but all it is going to take is Joshua Lau to pick up Hala in Silver Age, and people are going to be regretting their choices because I'm certain something is out there that I'm not personally looking at that's like, this is the most busted thing I've ever seen in my life. Better than how I was. Sure, probably, right? I mean, it's an expensive hero power. And the weapon. I mean, just like being able to swing. But like, flurry tokens are pretty good. Like, flurry tokens are kind of insane. And Edict of Steel being a common is like pretty cool. Oh, Zenith Blade? Yeah. And Zenith Blade's a hollow specialization, so you can't play that in any other hero, right? So I think sharpening, because really you're able to sharpen on your cards. Josiah. Josiah, never change, my friend. Never, ever change. Warrior might become a real hero, hopefully. I mean, probably. I think Warrior is doing pretty well overall. I think Warrior hasn't been so bad. But I think you often see a lot of it, especially these younger hero formats. I mean, it's certainly been a lot of like Decimator, Great Axe, Dorinthia, and Olympia. But Olympia is going to get a new sword that allows him to swing it for free, which is pretty cool. You'll probably see a lot more Wager Olympia happen. And wagering, believe it or not, it is all dependent on who you're playing against, because wagering sometimes gets people in a trap. Because if you're going to send an attack action for like 7 with Go Again and it's got Wager on it, sometimes people are going to be like, oh, okay, cool, I will block 7 because I want to get the thing. And then they're like, oh, cool, okay, thanks for blocking 7. I'm going to push more damage then. And then once your opponent is on the back foot, they're like, yeah, I've got all these tokens, but I never end up getting to use any of them. And it's like, that's perfect, because I don't want you to use them anyway. Good Olympia is going to be post mastery pack. Yeah, post armory deck. I'm curious what armory deck cards Olympia is going to be getting. You know, like what are some of these new cards that you're going to see in Olympia that are going to be like the most insane thing? But who knows? Forget DJ is always real because I always beat it. Yeah. Well, now especially. I mean, it's got no shunts. Yeah, there's a world, right? There's a world in which Olympia can be pretty good. I'm curious, actually. That's something I want to check. Has Marvel Olympia gone up since that announcement? $100? Is that what it's saying right now? What are you talking about, TCG player? Refresh your stuff. Dude, are you down right now? What's happening? Is 110? Really? Holy shit. Yeah, 113. That's kind of crazy. Like, I mean, look where this card was. Like, even like a year ago. This was at $71 for this Marvel. Reiner's win rate into Warrior, according to stats, is way lower than my personal win rate. I mean, sometimes you're just the better player, right? That's just how it is. Still, though, I gotta say, $100 for that's not bad. You know what I always think is the craziest thing? Just like an aside. You know how much this card is now? No listings available. You know what the last one sold for? $200. This card you can't even find on here anymore. That's crazy. And this is a Huntsman. Like, what are you talking about? So crazy. Anyway, enough of that. Enough of that, because that's all CC stuff. But yeah, there's gonna be a lot. There's a lot that's happening with the format overall with Silver Age, and we're getting new additions. We're getting removals of some heroes, but I do think that we're still in for a very interesting time. I'm very curious to see how many people actually get rid of, what do you call it? Of Kano. Also, the funny thing is they said that they said that they were banning cards that were not in pre-constructed decks for a season. But Blaze is going to come out, and there's just no way Blaze isn't also going to then have Aether Spindle in the deck, to where then Aether Spindle will become legal again to play. So, aren't immediately obvious are unoptimized. Yeah, probably. Yeah, Olympia's armor, not rare. Olympia's armor is majestic, if you're talking about the gold specifically. There is a piece of Olympia armor that is rare, the Prize Galea, but that is it. That is it. So, but yeah, I think, I don't know. Do we have any thoughts on Silver Age as a whole? What are you expecting with the next set? With, like, I'd be so surprised if Ziggy does well in Silver Age, but like it's a 20 life illusionist that has ward and amp. So I don't know. It might be kind of a pain in the ass, I'm not gonna lie. Although Fragment's kind of cool. But Omen's coming out, we're getting 3 new heroes there, and then we have, unless of course we're also going to get like a Scurv-esque hero to find in Limited. And then we have another hero that we got to deal with. Yeah. That's not ProTour. Dude, it was crazy. Ravenous Rabble? I still can't believe, like, not only was that a ProTour Icelander list, that's like that same exact list got 2nd and like 4th place. Or 5th place in the showdown. That's this same weekend. Rabble for 2? Coolest thing ever. Like, what? Cool lightning first. Oh, for sure. Well, really, you know who's getting some cool lightning cards? Briar. Unless she's banned. Or unless Briar gets benched. But yeah, it's a very fun prize getting the extra shirt. Well, I mean, I wouldn't be too sure. I think Ira's just gotta go, but I'm not gonna lie, I really don't like playing against Kano. Like, if I'm gonna be entirely honest, I don't like the fact that my opponent can play on my turn. Like, Verdance felt better. Because it was like, okay, cool. You're just sending a large arcane on your turn, that's fine. But large arcane on my turn, when I have no cards in my hand, that kind of sucks. But with Blaze coming back, it doesn't really matter, right? So I feel like voting for Kano only for Blaze to come back isn't going to be helpful. So I'd be curious. I would be quite curious as to seeing how that would go, right? But Liat's got a 47% win rate in some of these things. It's kind of cool. Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's still so much to be explored. There's so many cards that people have not put in their decks. For them to try out new different builds of things. You've got, you know, several weapon choices for several different heroes that are only now just making like the format as it is. But I think that the meta shifts almost every single time. Like, there's usually not even like, I don't know how to say it. There's just not normally a very insane meta spread of like it's only these 2 heroes. Like, it was KO for a little while when it was just like the odd showdown where it was like 3 to 4 KOs in the top 8. But now we see a lot of emerging decks that are just like pretty good into like this section of heroes, right? If your deck can play well into like a good portion of these heroes, you're in a good spot. So still don't have Bluster buff in the average runner build. Oh, interesting. I don't know why they wouldn't. I think Bluster buff's pretty cool. You're probably playing Bluster, Look Tough, and Chest Buff, if I were to guess. Still want to try to make Puffin work? Maybe. I mean, what are Puffin's win rates right now, right? Puffin's got a 24% win rate. Puffin does really well into Rhinar and 100% win rate into RKO. and 100% win rate into new, 60% win rate into, what is this, Syndra? So you're saying there's a chance. Awful lot of red down there, though. Cavdane in the dirt. For real. For real. Poor Cavdane. Listen, all I'm saying is that is some of the most fun Flesh and Blood I've had is playing Cavdane. If y'all go back to my Silver Age A to Z series, my Cavdane deck is just a stupid, dumb pile of generics. But let me tell you, Slogism, not a card you often see played. And when you see it played in a 20 life format, followed up by a card with Dominate, you're like, I don't know what I was expecting. It's just so fun. Quite a bit of Rhino, so when I look at a Fab Raid decks, I go, holy wow, this is, yeah. How many other decks could be optimized to not be the worst deck ever? I mean, it really does come down to player choice. I mean, like, you know, people who are willing to put in the hours and the reps to get, you know, 200, 300, 400 games on their hero that they want to play, they learn, they adapt. I mean, that's the purpose of deck building, is like, you know, if you determine that like having a, you know, if you're going to your locals and your locals has far too many Prism, and the Prism player is using Heralds and they have Herald of Judgment, right? You're going to swap out cards in your deck to not be 6s, but more so 7s instead, especially if they're like that relevant. Same deal, right? If you're expecting your opponent to block a lot with their hand, maybe you'll do cards that have more Intimidate, right? Rawhide Rumbles and Smell Fears, things like that. Or even like Guardian focus things, right? You want to put on more Intimidate triggers for that. But when you take a look at like ninjas are very fun because you just get to go, okay, I don't really want to worry about the Intimidate. I'd rather send the damage instead. So, oh my lord, I just read Slogism. It's good. Slogism's fun. I just play Enigma until I'm legally not allowed. Yeah, probably good call, Arena. I think Enigma's fun. I wanted to build an Enigma deck too, but I just haven't gotten around to doing it. Dromai is my illusionist of choice, and until I'm told that I shouldn't be playing her anymore or she gets hit with a ban somehow, Dromai's still going to be my illusionist of choice. Anytime I get the opportunity to play Dromai and Cease in any format, I do the best I can with it. So I like the deck a lot. Yeah, that's interesting. I do think that I don't know. I think that we're probably going to see a pretty big rise of Ira still to this day, even though Ira doesn't seem to be like winning a ton of stuff, right? Shoma's deck, I think, was the one. You know what? That's actually something I want to check. I did not check to see what Shoma's deck was running for the Shanghai Showdown, because I would like to see what he had. Isn't nearly as good. Well, and the reason she doesn't seem nearly as good is because a lot of her games come down to a die roll. I mean, there's like a 7% difference in win rate between going second and going first in some of the matchups. So it can certainly feel like that. Oh, this is the same Blessing of Key, Bluster Buff, 1 Bittering Thorns. Okay, so this is the same deck. This is Shoma's deck that also got top 8 in Yokohama. Yeah, lives and died by the die roll, which is, I mean, that's just what happens. Like, I think that's a lot of decks. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I think the same goes for like KO, right? KO wants to win the die roll. Kano wants to win the die roll. A lot of heroes just want to win the die roll. I'm just losing my doing for a second when I want the other. Yeah. And the only thing that'll save you in that scenario is if your opponent just draws bad 2 turns in a row. If they draw poorly 2 turns in a row, then you're probably in an okay spot and you can come back from that. But odds are they're not going to have that happen. But if it does, like, you have an option to come back. But a lot of times you are banking on the missteps of your opponent. So you need to play to your best out and then send that and get that set up. Because excuse me, because that's what it's all about there. So running going first is far scarier than going second. Yeah, for sure, right? Because you get to leak so much damage, right? You just intimidate everything out of the hand. But sometimes Rhinar draws, like, 4 blues, and all Rhinar can do is send blue, make a freaking, what do you call it? I guess you can't even make an assault and battery and agility, right? So it's just rough sometimes, right? You might even be able to like play a Smash Instinct or something. That's probably like your best thing you can do with an all blue hand is Smash Instinct or Romping Club. But there are opportunities for sure. But again, it does come down to the die roll. And I think having the ability to kind of push past that and do okay, like have like a I'm going second, I put in these sideboard plan is going to be pretty helpful. So I do think that having something like that available through testing and determining what you need is going to be great. So yeah, but I'm going to have to try this IRA list out. I do think this looks really, really good. Reinforce the line is a 0/4 react. Absolutely it is. It's insane. And then Sounding Alarm's also not bad, especially if your opponent's on attack reaction. So if you're playing Pummels and Guardian, right, you get to go get a D-react. But the issue though is that search your deck for a defense reaction. I don't think you have any. No. This is just a 1/5. It's a 1/5 that blocks 3. Are there no better 1/5s? Am I stupid? Oh, well, no. Again, Sound the Alarm is not for getting a D-react. Sound the Alarm is to look at your opponent's hand. It is not for the D-react. It's to help determine what your opponent's hand is going to look like during their turn. Which is what helps you out, right? So, pretty interesting stuff. Yeah, I have to get another Rainbow Foil EA of this. I have to get an Ikaru and a Seek Vengeance, so I have to get an Ira Armory deck. So that's unfortunate for me. I have to get an Ira Armory deck. What do those even go for, actually? Ira Armory deck. Ira Armory deck. $65. There's only one listing. You shouldn't be this much. Can I order them from MinMax? Wonder if MinMax has any. Flesh and Blood sealed. Reconstructed decks. They just have the Bravo deck. Booster boxes, bulk playmats. Got that? Well, I mean, you're gonna want to use them. But if you're not gonna use them, I can certainly take them off your hands. Hopefully you want to do an aerodynamics. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's my whole thing. Is I want to get them no matter what. But I do agree with you. I'll need them for skirmish season. So I guess technically, if you're not playing in skirmish season, Maeve, I'll probably take them off your hands. But I forgot the lore book playmat. Oh, I need to get that so bad. $90. Frick. Okay. I appreciate you. Damn, some of these freaking decks really, or some of these playmats really do be going for $50, huh? There's a Gravy Bones Armory deck. That's nice. $90? The lore book playmat? So good. It's Dorinthia, Bravo, Katsu, and Rhinar. So pretty. Anyway. Yeah. So we'll see. Let me check in Mythic and see if we have any art decks left tomorrow. Okay, sure. If you happen to find one, although I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably not gonna go about buying them right now, like buying anything, just because again, I don't know if I broke the news to some people who were here early in stream, but I recently brought my car into the shop because a noise was occurring in whenever I like press on the brakes or even when I was accelerating. A lot of noising. My power steering seemed to be having a bit of an issue. And so I brought it into the shop to get it checked out. And they were like, all right, well, you're going to need to replace all the brakes in your car, all of them. And your power steering system needs to be replaced entirely. So the whole power steering system needs to be replaced, and I need new brakes. And so I said, okay, cool. How much does that run me? And they proceeded to say, and I quote, $7,400 for it all. And I was like, yo, the car's paid off, and it's like a dinky, like 2007 Honda. Like I put more money in it than what it's worth. And, lo and behold, right, they called me back the next day because I was like, is there any way that like we don't have to go through the whole replacement, just put the power steering fluid in there and then we're good? And I was like, and they were like, well, I'll check with the technician to see if that's the case, but we'll double check and get back to you tomorrow. And so Friday they call me and they're like, well, we actually would need to get everything replaced because frankly, if you just get the brakes done and you put the power steering fluid in it and you took it off the lot today, odds are you'll probably be back in the shop in like 3 months to get it all replaced anyway, because I have like a bunch of leaks all over my power steering system. So I was like, okay, well, that sucks. I guess I'm just gonna have to junk the car. And they're like, well, we actually have parts with a shorter warranty on them. It's like a 20,000 mile warranty and a 2-year warranty on them instead of a 4-year warranty and a 40,000 mile warranty. And they were also doing they're currently doing if you're a returning customer, you get 15% off the work that gets done on your car. And I'm not a returning customer. I'm new to this place, but they did honor the discount for me too, even though I'm not a returning customer. So that was really nice. And it brought the total from like $7,400 to $4,800. So not bad. It's like a $2,600 savings on the thing, but it's still $5,000 I got to put in my car. So your boy is going to be a little on the short side for a bit, but luckily with wonderful additions to the channel members like Dan was earlier, you can help me out with that. But I'm not making this like a GoFundMe. I'm not trying to get all that stuff taken care of. I'm good. Any help is always appreciative, but I'm not going to make this like a whole thing. I'm not going to do this whole thing like, I've 300 subscribers on Instagram or 300 followers on Instagram, and I'm out here making a GoFundMe because my car needs a $20,000 repair or some nonsense. Like, I'd much rather just continue to. The best part about knowing that I can pay for a $5,000 repair is I know I can still go play Flesh and Blood at a budget by playing Silver Age. That's why I can afford to do something like this, is because I play Silver Age. And Silver Age allows me to do exactly that, which is just like enjoy the thing. So you have to find the lore booklet from the Rhinoverse Strengthy Classic Battles. Sure, you could. That's a product I have not bought, is the Rhinoverse Strengthia Classic Battles. I would like to, though. Maybe one day. One day. I have like nearly all of it. I guess technically I do have it. Now that I think about it, I got it in somebody's bulk I got. They gave me their bulk and it was like everything from the Classic Battles. $20 ticket to a $5,000 car repair. Damn right. Damn right. Damn right, Josiah. And I mean, that's it, right? Like, I gotta say, that's kind of always been my thing, is that, I mean, something like this, like a $5,000 car repair, I'm not gonna lie, part of me was like, maybe I just sell out a CC and I just play Sage. Because I have, I mean, we just mentioned the Arachne Marvel. That's going for $200 right now. Like, that's a pretty big dent in the money that I owe for this. And I can do the same thing with like a ton of my other stuff. I have like a ton of crazy, let me, you know what? I wonder if I can show you. I have so many binders of things. I have so many binders of things. I got all of these binders. I got this, right? And this thing contains like a ton of stuff. This is just like all Majestics. Majestics and Legendaries from like a bunch of different classes. I've just got all this. Pages upon pages upon pages of like Majestics and other things in here. But more specifically, I've also got things like, I don't know what this stuff does. Got high seas stuff in here. I don't know that I have bling in this one. Hey, curious. Bling in here? No. No, I do not. Not have a lot of bling. No bling in the high seas binder. This is a heavy hitters binder. I don't think I'm gonna have anything for. Probably. Let me see. My Adult Olympia. What else do I have here? Let's see. Trying to think about what I would have in here that's like shiny. I don't know that it's too much. I've got some cold foils. I've got some reinforced lines. Evo Magneto in rainbow foil. Reel in rainbow foil. My Ancestral Harmony in rainbow foil over there too. Nothing from the spicy side of things, though. I'll sell entire blinged out Arachne deck. I don't think I'm going to be doing all that. Maybe some bling, but maybe not like my signed cards or anything. I wonder if you can ask for ProTour prize money in yen. Maybe. I'd imagine if you're... Although I think it is all done in Japan, in US currency. I'd imagine they're probably not changing the currency directly to whoever they're giving the money to, but maybe they are. Are you gonna have to pay it all like up front, or is it something you're doing payments? I mean, I can do payments on, but I mean, I'll probably end up just doing all of it, right? What else do I have? A bark skin that isn't getting use anymore. What else do I have in here that isn't getting use? I've got Gone in a Flash that isn't getting use. I've got, oh, is this here? Last? I think I have a current funnel somewhere also in here. Maybe not. Some snuff out. Sigil of Aether. I think I got my real spicy stuff in the back here, though. Rainbow Foil Truce. Pretty cool. Yeah, it's not that I want to be doing payments. Just it might be a have to, depending on it. We've got our family, our Earth family. And then I think the Aurora, these are done. Oh, I'm missing literally just this one. So these are good. And then we've got some other things here. I do have a Marvel Florian and a Cold Foil Rotwood Reaper, Cold Foil Verdance, and an Amulet. And then I think the one thing that's actually worth something in here is this Extended Arts Gone in a Flash. I think this card is just like gone up, right? This EA Gone in a Flash. This card is like an insane amount of money right now. And I don't plan to, I mean, I guess I could play it theoretically, right? If I have a Gone in the Flash that I want to use. We got that. Got some other stuff here from Dust to Dawn. I think this is a, it might actually be empty. Empty? You have cards in here. There are cards in this binder. Do I have any like M's or anything from this set? Anything set? Like cold, is it a regular? It's a regular flail. I don't know that I have anything from here. My Great Axe. Oh, there's a Starstruck. Lost in Thought. It's actually good to know that I have one of those. That's it. Much for this. Nothing in here. Yeah, the Gone in a Flash is expensive, right? I mean, it's a lightning set is coming up, and they didn't ban Gone in a Flash. They banned other lightning cards, but they didn't ban Gone in a Flash. So not too shabby. Another Spreading Plague. Rainbow Foil Bonds of Ancestry. Hold on. Trying to make sure I don't have like M's in here that I just like do not remember having. No, we're pretty okay here. The rares, commons, Cold Foil Silkengi. Look like anything else from there, so. Flash. It is quite late indeed. But yeah, so that's just some of the stuff I have, and I think like if I really thought about it, right, I could probably like get rid of most of my bling, right? If I really wanted to, I could sell my Gone in a Flash, I could sell my Gone in a Flash, I can sell my Arachne. I could sell my EA Surgical Extraction, or not my EA. My Rainbow Foil Surgical Extractions, my Rainbow Foil. I can start selling like my Cold Foil Daggers if I really wanted to. But I don't think I'm going to, because frankly, I don't think I need to. I'm very thankful that I'm able to make a decent amount of money at my job and do okay there, but it is going to be more important to make sure that that happens. And luckily, I'm very Silver Age pilled right now and probably forever, so we're expected to see a lot of that there. Reminds me I should start placing some binders. Yeah, I do. I mean, I do the same thing. I have an Assassin binder, a Guardian binder, an Illusionist binder, a Runeblade binder, and a Brute binder now. And then I need to buy another one to get Mechanologist, and then another one to get Ninja. And then I need one for Necromancer. I need one for every class. I'm gonna do all that. So About to have multiple ninja binders. You could probably fit it all into one binder, if I were to guess, but I could be wrong. But I guess if you want to have like one binder for regular ninja and another binder for draconic ninja and then another binder for mystic ninja, then yeah. So but not a bad spot to be. So all right, well, it's been about 2 hours we've been live, so happy we were able to talk a bit about the Pro Tour and the showdown and all that stuff there. Happy to take a look at some of these lists, and I think it's going to be really fun to be able to play these locally at the skirmish level. Again, really at the end of the day, if you're going to go to a skirmish and you're signed up for them, just make sure to have fun. Don't really worry about hyper competitive BS or whatever, right? Just go there, get in. You could win a Bolton just by showing up. So that's always a thing. But you're guaranteed to win a Bolton if you win. So if you want to play to win, there are plenty of decks out there that can make that choice with you. If you're playing to have fun, just choose a deck that works best for you, that you know very well. Bring it and just enjoy your time playing Fab. That's what it's about. So thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. Always a pleasure doing these very impromptu late night streams, but I promise I'm going to try doing more of them. That way more people get access to talking with me live, talking about Silver Age, and just enjoying the format in general. And maybe we'll do some more like live testing for skirmish season in the coming weeks. So we'll see about all that. But thank you all so much for watching. I do really appreciate your support, and I hope you all continue to have fun in the flesh and blood. And I will see all of you beautiful Ashwings in our next live stream. Have a good night, everybody.